And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. What I want to talk about today is decisions. Alright, decisions. Let me start with a story. When I was 18 years old, remember I was a virgin, and my goal was to get married and have a family eventually. Why was that such a big deal? Well, it just was. I was raised with it. And I had found my high school sweetheart, and I was so excited about this girl, and I was basically telling my host father at the time. I was living in the States, and I told him, you know what, I just want to get married to this girl, I know I'm gonna marry her, blah blah blah. And he's like, oh my gosh. And he was completely right. I mean, what the heck am I thinking? I'm like 18 years old. I'm still in high school. I don't have a job. I don't have anything set up in my life. And basically, he helped me realize how this was a massively emotional thought. And if I was to get married at that time, it would have been an emotional decision. Now, when it comes to decisions, and especially big life-altering decisions like getting married or who to get sexually involved with, those are decisions that are not to be made when you're in a very high peak emotional state. Alright, that's why usually weddings and marriages are planned way ahead so that you can make a non-emotional decision over a long period of time to decide, is this the right thing to do? So, fortunately, I have to admit, I did not get married as an 18-year-old, right? And the reason why is because I realized that I needed to become a man first. And there were some things that I needed to set up in my life first. And it took another 5 years before I got married, but you know what? It should have taken probably another 5 years after that as well. Because I still was in that emotional state. Personally, just like I said in the last video, I would say if you manage to create a passive income of 10,000 US dollars every single month and you live on 20% of that, now we're talking that you're emotionally ready. Now, I would say you've passed the man test and you're emotionally ready to actually start a family. But before you're there, you're not really there. Like life-altering decisions like getting married and maybe buying a house depending upon what you're thinking about that's sometimes an emotional decision. Now, if it's a rational decision, you've gone through the numbers, you know what you're doing, that's fine, and that's a different story. And also buying a fancy car in your early 20s. It's ridiculous. Those are big decisions that put you in emotional debt that you don't need when you're a young kid. When you're a young kid, what you need to do is to learn as much as possible, but don't learn the hard way. This is how most people learn, is that they go through difficult experiences and they have to learn for themselves in order to get through the other side and look back and say, oh my gosh, I wish I hadn't done that. Oh, and then they say, oh, no regrets, because I enjoy who I am today. Yeah, but things could have been different, And that's how important big decisions are. So let's go back then to, in what state should you make decisions? You should make decisions when you are emotionally stable. Now, so when should you be emotionally stable? I would say all the time. There is no reason for why you should be emotionally like this. No reason whatsoever. Because if you think about it, you got those big decisions that I've spoken about already, but let's just talk about those two things that we all want more of, which is time and money. Right? In terms of money, do you want to make emotional decisions with money? or do you want to make rational and logical decisions with your money? Now, compare those two and think about it. How can I increase this money as fast as possible? Do you think it's going to be by making emotional decisions, or is it going to be making rational and logical decisions? You know the answer. Like, some people say that, oh, you gotta trust your gut. Well, you know what? You should only trust your gut if you've actually have a disciplined gut. If you've actually come to the point where you know how to channel your emotions, you know what you're doing emotionally. Okay? If you don't know what you're doing emotionally and you don't know how to channel yourself and be disciplined, forget about your gut. Okay? What you need to do is to think and understand logically and rationally what is going on. If you're going to make investments, right? The best investors in the world will tell you that you invest the best when you know what you're investing in. Now, if you're investing based on emotion, very often you feel that you know, but you don't. You've got no idea, right? And that's why Warren Buffett says only invest in things that you know everything about, all right? And that's a rational and logical thing to do. Now, so when it comes to money, make sure you're emotionally stable. And money is something that you have with you every single day, hopefully, if you have money on your bank account. You can make emotional decisions or rational decisions with your money every single day. That's why I recommend that you're emotionally stable at all times, okay? And it's the same with time. Every single day you are allotted 86,400 seconds. Every single person gets those new every single day. And they are a very tiny fraction of your perhaps 2.5 billion to maybe 4 billion seconds that you have in your entire life. Okay? It's very little compared to those billions of seconds. Maybe you have a lot shorter, we don't know. But what's most important for you to realize is that do you want to go through your life not having control? Not being able to make your own decisions. No, you want to make sure that you're emotionally stable throughout all of those seconds until you now are emotionally free. Until you are financially free. Until you can basically choose over your own self and then choose to channel your emotions to focus on those things that matter to you. Instead of focusing on a job, focusing on getting money to put food on the table for your family. Instead of, do you understand what I mean? Right? Start early, start fresh, and make sure that you're emotionally stable first. Prioritize that. And you know what? It's a decision. And the last note on this, being emotional and unstable is something that we should leave to the women. Okay? It is a masculine trait to be emotionally stable. All right? And you'll get ahead so far beyond every single man that's out there. Because they're not men yet if they're not able to be emotionally stable. All right? They're still boys. Feminine boys who never grew up. Okay? But you can choose to grow up today and be emotionally stable. Alright? And if you choose not to be, you're still being feminine. And that's okay, you just haven't progressed further along the curve of growth yet. But you'll get there, and I'll get there, we'll all get there. But prioritize becoming emotionally stable. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you again tomorrow.